Hello, everybody. It's Drama Free Friday. Welcome to my studio. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. There's plenty of room. Seats in the house for everybody. What is going on? Usually there's a ton of people here by now. Well, it's only 1:02. What am I talking about? Hey, there we go. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Come in. Welcome to my studio. And the crazy that you never know what could happen here. It's Drama Free Friday, people. It is Drama Free Friday. We've had Drama Free Monday, Drama Free Wednesday. We made it to Drama Free Friday. I'm just cutting up some stuff that I should have already had done. However, it's not. You won't mind. I know you won't mind. 'Cause you're my peeps. Hello, Mina. Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. So good to see you. And Linda, good to see you. Chance, it's nice to see you. Yes, it's nice to see you. Mostly, it's nice to hear you. Sort of. Kinda, sorta. The cat is a mess, you guys. The cat is a mess. What are we going to do with him? What are we going to do with these cats? Hi, Karen. I don't think I've seen your name in the chat before. Maybe I have, but I've forgotten. But welcome. Glad you're here. And hey, Tink, hi, Noit, and Gail. So nice to have you guys join me. Cutting up some papers so they're smaller pieces while everybody's kind of wandering in. Yes, Chance. Yes, I see you. Why would one use little tiny scissors when you could get the job done a whole lot faster with big ones? Sometimes you just want to smack your own head, don't you? You just want to bang your own head into the wall and go, get a grip, girl. Yeah, right, Chance? I know, right? How's everybody doing today? Hi, Barbara. Hi, Jane. Hi, Jean. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm having a great day today. It's cooler here today. That makes the day infinitely more comfortable. But I think I'm going to a fair after a while. That whole concept of being super comfortable could be in question. I haven't been to a county fair or any kind of fair in, I can't tell you how many years. I think I'm looking forward to it. Chance. Anybody want a cat real cheap? Real cheap. Super duper cheap. But you have to know he's noisy. You know what I did today? Already? I sprayed my carpet. As in, dyed the carpet with spray. It's a good thing I'm the only one that lives in this particular space. Don't you think? Because there's nobody to fuss at me about how I should have protected a bigger area when I was going to spray something. Have any of you guys done that? Sprayed the floor? It was permanent spray too. It was dye. Dye. Every once in a while, I just wonder what goes through my head. I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth. How are you guys today? Ah. No, Eat's not going to take the cat? Is that what I'm reading? Do buy one, get one on the cat. I see. Buy one, get one on the cats. Let me tell you, Charlie is no bargain. Charlie is no bargain. Bless his heart. He is no longer a bargain. Poor guy. Life for him is pretty tough right now. Which means life is interesting living with him. Because I will tell you, he's a messy cat. You have to watch carefully. When you enter, this is probably way too much information, but when you enter my space, you have to be very careful about where you step. He is a constant challenge right now. He just makes me take advantage of my new carpet. It's not even new anymore, but my carpet cleaning machine. Use your imagination. You're welcome. Not. Oh goodness, it's a beautiful day outside. I hope you guys are enjoying the creation that hopefully you get to see outside your creative space today. It's beautiful. I got to see the sunrise today. I don't always get to see that. That was lovely. It is lovely. How can a person not appreciate creation when you get to see the sunrise? I know. I'm just cutting stuff down so it's in more manageable pieces, and then we'll get going. Krissa, how are you? All the way from Greece. Man, we have international people here today. Thank you so much for coming. You guys are the best. I have the best audience. Janet Young says she has the best audience on YouTube. No, she doesn't. I do. Don't tell her I said that. She's probably here. Hi, Aunt Beck. Welcome. Hi, Jennifer, Dar. Who else did I miss? I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of people. Jane. I don't know if I said hello to you. I can say hello to people and then 2 seconds later I don't remember. Anyway, it is a day to imagine. All right. I think I maybe caught most of the people. Purple Nana's in the house, and Mickey, hello. So good to see you guys. I love seeing your name. Hey, Jan. Lady True North. Oh, come over and clean. Yeah. I'm going to tell you. Charlie's a challenge. Hi, Marg. Yes. Chris's got the hearts raining down today into the chat. We got Canada, Greece, Israel, United States. I don't know who else we have here. Anyway, welcome. All right. Okay, we're going to get the you-know-who's up here. Because they're going to drive me bats if I don't. Oh, goodness. Move the tea. Get your hindquarters out of the... Yeah. We don't... There's nobody that wants to see that, Chance. There's absolutely no one wants to see that. No one. Absolutely no one. All right, you coming up too? My goodness. You coming up too? All right. Come here. We'll get your butt out of the shot, would you? Cat wrangling. It's a sport. Cat wrangling is a sport here in the How to Get Creative Studios. Yes, it is. Oh, goodness, I'm telling you. Yes, if you're new here, this thing right here, this one I'm touching, this is Chance. He spent part of the morning sitting on my lap, just rubbing his head on my hand for all he was worth because I wasn't paying enough attention to him. The other one here, this is Charlie, that I'm cleaning the crap out of his eyes because he just constantly gets gunk in his eyes. Poor old guy. His whole goal right now is to just keep breathing. He is having a hard time breathing. Okay. Oh, thank you, Krissa. That's very sweet of you. I don't know why it does. Maybe it was just maybe it just worked out today. You just never know. Thank you, Krissa. It's really nice. So anyway, this is Chance. This is Charlie. They are not litter mates. They did come together. They were rescued together. So, well, not really rescued. They were rehomed together here quite a few years ago. I think they've been here probably 10 years now or something like it. And they were rehomed by a nurse who was a traveling nurse because I think she didn't have, wasn't home enough. And so she needed she wanted somebody to love these cats more than she was able to love them. And I was fortunate enough that they came to live here. So that's how they got here. And they've been good boys. They came fat. They've stayed fat in spite of my best efforts to trim them down. And yeah, they don't have the most flattering and svelte proportions. But I've tried, people. I've tried to make them healthy. I've tried feeding them expensive diet food. That didn't work. I've tried all kinds of stuff. Charlie's losing weight, just he's hanging off the table. He's losing weight just by virtue of the fact that he gets sick a lot. But anyway, he struggles to breathe. He has some real lung and breathing issues. You can kind of tell by looking at him. Those of you that have been hanging around a long time, you know what he used to look like. But he's still happy. And he still likes to be on my lap, and he still demands his time on the camera. I tell you, on Friday, they know. I swear they know when I touch the on button on the camera. They come from wherever they are, and sometimes they haunt me before I even turn the camera on. They are such good company, Mina. They are just such good company. They really are. I love them. I'm so glad they're here. I'm well aware of the fact that, my time is getting shorter with this one. Oh, I forgot my rings. I wonder where I left those. Just noticed that my rings aren't on my finger. That's all right. You guys won't care. My time's getting short with him, but, he's still happy. He still purrs. He still eats and drinks, and he likes catnip, and so there you go. Hi, Tam. So yeah, anyway. Okay. So now what we're going to do, since we've had the cat sighting, is I'm going to put them away. Yes, we're going to go in the other room because I've had as much fun with them as I can deal with for now. All right, come on. I'll be right back. Gotta wash my hands. I love them so much, but I'm just allergic enough that if I touch my eyes after having been touching them, it is problems. It is problems. Yes, exactly, Mina. Hello, Anna Maria. Hello from Germany. I think, right? So good to have you here. Hi, Linda. It's great. Great to have you, everybody. So, yep, I'm Barb Owen. We're going to imagine together for a little bit that everything's perfect in the entire world. Because after all, this is Drama-Free Friday. Yes, it is. And we pretend here that everything is perfect. Just for a little bit. We just, you can say I'm putting my head in the sand or whatever, but you know what? That is just exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to pretend everything is perfect. We're going to take a break from the crazy, do some fun stuff, have a good time, enjoy the creation of the beauty around us, because we can. And no matter how difficult it is out there, there's always something that we can see, always something that can get our heart involved, get our attention, and you can always see something good and positive if you just decide to do it. So that's what we're going to do. Yep. So I'm Barb Owen, the founder of HowToGetCreative.com, and I'm so glad that you've joined us today. Those of you watching the replay later on, I hope you have enjoyed watching, and I'm glad that you did. And you can always scroll past this first part where we just kind of shoot the breeze for a little bit and just wait for everybody to sort of show up. Hello, Riri. Get it being an ostrich, isn't that the truth? Yep. Let's see. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to be just a reminder. Some of you I know are new as you are watching. I'm teaching at the Sacred Maker's Soul Retreat in September, which is coming up before you know it, on September 14th to 18th. And I think I'm teaching Anyway, I'm teaching there for 2 days. I'm teaching the same class twice, and you only have to sign up for it once. So you get to take workshops with, it's not just a class, it's really a workshop. So you get to take workshops with 2 different people. And it is in September. There is a link in the description box below the video, and you can click on that and find out all kinds of information. It is a retreat put together and sponsored by Kyla and Damon Give Hand. And many of you know Kyla because she has been on with me numerous times here on the stream. If you scroll back, way back, you'll see at least 2 different creative chats that I've done with her, so you'll get to see her. Hello, CB. Hi, Tori. So good to have you all here. I love seeing your names pop into the chat. It's always nice to see familiar names, and it's also nice to see new people, new names pop in the chat. Let's see, what else? It is a great day to create. That's what we're going to do here in just a minute. And tomorrow is a VIP show and share. VIP members from HowToGetCreative.com. There is the VIP show and share is tomorrow. Can't wait to be with you in the afternoon. It's at 2 Eastern. And then check your email for details, because all the stuff is in your email. The email went out. You should have gotten it this morning. This morning if you're in the United States. In the afternoon if you're elsewhere. And you'll get another email tomorrow if I scheduled the time right. I have a hard enough time thinking about things in my own time zone, but when I have to think not only in Eastern time zone sometimes, but on West Coast time zone sometimes I kind of mess that up. So I can't wait to be with you for that. We're going to do something kind of fun tomorrow. But you're going to have to come and find out what it is. It's based on a picture that I took, a photograph that I took with my phone. So maybe that'll pique your interest. All right, so I have been doing a lot of things with mandalas this past week because we're having a mandala cards sale. So I'm going to show you, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. These are the Mandala Madness cards. This is what we're having our sale on. It's buy one, get one. I'll show you exactly how to use the website here in a minute, because I have a couple of people that have placed orders that I don't think they understood how to do the ordering process. So I'm going to show you again. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you pop in the chat. Hi, Marianne. Dana is not getting her VIP notices. Okay, well, I'm glad you forwarded. I don't know why she's not getting them. I have no idea. Yeah. I'm glad you forwarded it, though. And thank you for telling me that, but I don't know why she's not getting them. Must be something somewhere between here and there. Technical issues have happened, unless maybe she's changed her address or something. I don't know. If she sends in a support ticket, you might tell her, Marion, if she sends a support ticket in, maybe Race can help her figure it out. These are the cards. This is some of them. I've used a couple out of this deck, but every card is different. Every mandala is my artwork. They're all different levels and examples of mandalas. Also, an inspirational word on both sides, plus a quote to inspire you, and also an instruction or a prompt that you can use either for mandalas or you can use for art journaling or any other number of things. So, and I showed how to do that earlier this week. We did some of that. I'm going to show you here in a minute just exactly how to order. We're going to review what we've been doing. So they are buy one, get one, like this. So you buy one, you get the other one. You do have to pay shipping. However, it's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. So last week on Friday, we took the cards and I showed you how to split the cards apart and how to take the pieces of the cards and then weave them together. So we took them, we split them apart. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. Where you just take them and they're easy to split. Just use your thumbnail. So you have one set to keep and then one set to play with, unless you want more than one set to play with. And you see they just peel apart just like that. That way you can use both sides of the card. And this is a really good art supply. And when you think about how much material you get out of that, it is a good deal. So we took those, we peeled them apart, wove them together, and then made cards out of them, just because it's a fun way to use something. But you could use these in all different ways other than just on a card. They're shiny, glossy, because every card is varnished, and so you get that really pretty shine, which you don't get with most of your traditional scrapbooking papers and things like that. So we did those last Friday. And on some of these, I also used the word and the quote on here. Like this is one of the words, and there's the quote. So I also used some of the Tim Holtz, I don't know what they are, small talk, chit chat, I don't know what they are. Anyway, use some of those too. And so that's what we did on Friday, last Friday. Then on Wednesday, we did this, which is using punches, and we just punched out did some fussy punching, and we took some of those and then used a glaze pen as a resist with some watercolor. This is not finished, but it's, in process. And this is a paste paper that I did a couple of weeks ago. Just a wonky little vase of flowers to make a card, but this could easily be a art journal page or what have you. And then on, that was Monday. So we did Friday, Monday. Then on Wednesday, we used the cards for what they are intended to be. So instead of as an art supply, we did use them following the prompts. And so this is a mandala that I had in process. We did some of this together a few weeks ago also. And so I've used the prompts to start the embellishment process on here. So that is, and this is far from finished, but it just gives you an idea. and one of the prompts was to use letters, and so we had to come up with an 8-letter word. So the chat came up with peaceful, which is perfect. It's just perfect. So that's what we did on Wednesday, which brings us to Friday. If things go well next week, I will intend to stream more times next week also. Just be sure and set your notifications. Click the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. That way you know when I go live. And because I don't know, what times of the day and stuff. It just kind of depends on when it works for me. So I'll just pop on and we'll just do something. All right. Okay. All right. Hi, Tara. Folding laundry. Ooh. All right, let me show you real quickly how to order the cards, just so you know. So let's see if I can do this. Show computer. And this, I need to do this. Yeah. Guys, just a minute. I gotta get the right thing here. There we go. Okay. I'll tell you what, it's just all kinds of gymnastics here you gotta go through. There we go. Okay, so you go to HowToGetCreative.com. You see it up here in the address bar, HowToGetCreative.com. Then you come over here to where it says Shop, and I'm just hovering over it with my mouse. I'm not clicking anything yet. I'm just hovering over it, which creates this drop-down menu, and you select Gift Shop. Okay, just down to Gift Shop. And then in the Gift Shop, you'll see all the different options of things that we have currently available. So we have books. We have the Creating Faces book. And this is an ebook. You can get the physical book on Amazon. This is my book about being a family caregiver. What I have available for you here is a 6 CD set. That is a very limited quantity. So if anybody wants that, they are CDs. It's old technology, but some people still like to use a CD player, so that is available that way. It's also on Audible.com, and you can get the printed version of this book on Amazon. So these are ebooks. I'm going to show those to you today. These are courses that we have. The Mandala Madness course. This I honestly need to take off. I haven't even looked at the fact this was still on. This is from before. Never mind. Okay. So if we go to the Mandala Madness cards, if you hover over it, it will give you the product details if you want to do that, or you can directly add it to the card. Either one. If you go to the product details, it's going to show you all the stuff. So there's a video that explains the cards and what you get. It shows you what the cards are, gives you an example of what they look like, gives you a closer look at it. Hi, Shu, good to see you. And it compares the size of our cards to a phone and also a regular playing card, so they're quite a bit bigger. Shows you the back of the card, what you get there. You do get a downloadable ebook, which we're going to work with today. One of the things from the ebook has all new designs in it. The symbols is what we're going to work with today, the symbols in the book. And then there's also a free mini course that you get. And all the way through there are blue buttons. If you hover over this, there are blue buttons, and you can add to your cart, select them. Okay, now here's the trick to this, guys. You got to change the quantity to 2. Okay, see this? It's got to say 2 in this cart. Otherwise, the system does not understand it. So remember, it's buy one, get one. So you got to get 2 in your cart. Add to cart. I've got a few orders sitting in the ordering system right now that I'm going to have to deal with. That people didn't realize that they had to put in the number 2. Once you've got that, you can go to View Cart up here. Okay, click on View Cart. It's going to show you that you've got the cards are $27 a deck. They're You got 2, that means $54, right? Right here, you need to put in the BOGO, little letters or big, doesn't matter which one. It's buy one, get one, BOGO, and apply the coupon. Once you do that, you're going to see it's going to remove the cost of one. So it's $27 for 2 decks of cards. Alrighty? Then you just proceed to checkout, and it's going to have you fill in all your details there. That's as simple as it is. But there's 2 things that are important. You have to order 2 in the quantity, and you have to put in the code and apply the coupon. If you don't do that, it is not going to work. Okay? The system does not work if you don't do that. So you got to do that. Super important. If you want more than 2 decks, there is no limit. So you can buy as many as you want in multiples of 2, but you have to place separate orders in groups of 2. So if you want 6 decks of cards, you would have to place 3 orders of 2 decks each. Okay? And as long as I see it and recognize that it's the same person, since I'm the one that's filling the orders right now, then I will adjust your shipping and refund shipping back to you. There you go. Oh, you finally managed to get the order placed? Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. Excellent. Can you, you might just put in the chat there what your cousin's name is so that I know what I'm looking, so I know to look for it. Okay? Would you do that? That would be great, Shu. All right. Any other questions from anybody? Hi, Darla. I'm so glad you popped in. All righty. So let's do some stuff. I'm going to show you today, before I actually do the creative thing, I wanted to show you where this whole Mandala Madness started. I thought you might enjoy seeing that. How did this all start for me anyway? It started a long time ago, and it started when I was trying to stay sane. I've had a couple of challenges in that arena in my lifetime. A couple of times. Hi, Carlene. Good to see you. Hi, Sheila. Welcome. Barbara, if you have a credit card, you still have to go through the PayPal system, but you can choose a credit card. So you can do either one. You still have to go through the PayPal system because that's who handles the finance part of it. Anyway, I'll show you where this all started where did the madness begin? Back when I was taking care of my mom, I was trying to stay connected. Hi, Trish. I was trying to stay connected to life. And I was wandering around in the bookstore, which is my typical thing. If I need to just decompress, I'll go to the bookstore. And this book jumped off the shelf at me, and it was a color book, which I don't generally select color books. But what fascinated me about this was that mandalas are found in every culture and every religion. And I thought that was just fascinating. Some of them are square, many of them, they're more round than they are square, typically. But, you'll have some that are unusual. And I found it really fascinating. And I knew nothing about what products to use on this paper. That's how long ago this was. And so I bought different kinds of coloring mediums. I think this is crayon. And just colored them. That's all I did, was just color them. This, I think, is colored pencil. And it tells down in the margin what these are. Some of them are Hindu, some of them are Christian, some of them are, this is done with chalk. Some of them are Native American. What was this one? I think this was watercolor. Yeah, because the paper is all warped. This was my first thing that I was interested in. These are Celtic back here in this section. This is Native American. So many of these designs are, I just found it so fascinating that they were found in so many different cultures. So that's where it started originally. So lots of, this is all the Celtic section. Let's see, where else? This is still Celtic stuff. Okay, this is a section of the ones that are found in Christian windows and symbolism and so forth. So all of these are found in various iterations of Christianity, which I just found it fascinating. So anyway, I ended up, well, this is a pretty one. That was a Christian one in Christianity. So I ended up buying this book to start with. That's where the madness kind of began. Cousin's name is Anu. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Thank you, Shoes, so that I see that, because I will look for it. Okay, thank you. That's good. Perfect. Hi, Signa. And anybody else coming on in? You went through a big phase of doing mandalas in Illustrator. Yeah, Illustrator makes it pretty easy once you understand how to use Illustrator, right? For me, it was, I needed to do the actual drawing. That's what I had to do. So I'm going to show you then what I went from, because the coloring part of it wasn't really doing it for me, you know. You could probably see as I flipped through that I really didn't do all that many in the coloring arena, so to speak. And then I started drawing them, and I honestly didn't really understand what the whole concept was of a mandala, but I was just fascinated with the design and the concept of them. And so it started here, and this starts with a dot in the center. This has no guidelines on it, so there is no circles, there's no lines. It just starts in the center, and then you just start drawing from the center and using your eye to draw it. So this was one of the very first ones I did back in 2010. Hi, Dorothy. You are very welcome, Jean. It is my pleasure. You know why? You know why we did the buy one get one? Because I was cleaning. I was cleaning, and I found some boxes of cards that I had stashed, and I'm like, I need to move these out. And so we're going to move them out so we make room for other things. So you guys get to take advantage of my cleaning frenzy. That's what happened. All right, so this is just done with pens, but this was probably the very first mandala I ever actually drew. And this is just on sketchbook paper. This was done the same way, just drawn from a dot, and it's just drawn from there, also in 2010. This is drawn with colored pencils. And let's see, I think I have another, yeah, here's another one. Same way. These are all done freehand, no guidelines, no circles, no rings, no anything. No, it's just a dot and then just moving out. And that's why you can see, instead of this being square with the page, like this part being square with the page, it's kind of yeah. Here's another one, same exact thing. These are just done with, this one now I've begun to embellish a little bit with this one. So this one is definitely has more involvement than this one does, but you just kind of see the process and how it works out. Barbara, they're not nearly as, hey Josie, good to see you. They're not nearly as perfect as you would think they were. You know, when you first glance at them, they really are not. But you learn pretty quickly to gauge with your eye when you learn to draw them this way. You gauge with your eye pretty accurately. But the great part about drawing them is that they're just, I don't know, they just make you just like relax. That's what they did for me anyway. From here, then I started drawing them on pieces of cardstock, and I got into an exchange with a group of people on there. This was before they had Facebook groups, so this was, I don't know where that group was located, but it wasn't Facebook. I couldn't tell you now. Anyway, it was back in 2010. Believe me, I have slept since then. I have slept since then. And so, yeah, I don't have a clue where that group was. Anyway, we decided, the group of us, that we were going to exchange mandalas or zendalas or whatever. And so these had the challenge of this group. Some of these are mine, and a lot of them are ones that I got in the exchange. So you'll see other people's. The challenge of this for me was that we had to leave room in order to bind the mandalas together into a group, which meant that it is off, we added the binding area, and boy does that mess with my head. Totally messes with my head. So I had to draw a line and pretend that that part wasn't there in order to keep it symmetrical. My first YouTube I found was making mandalas with kitchen gadgets and stuff. Yep. Hey Janet, good to see you. Yeah, that was one of the early videos that I did when I came over on YouTube. So many of these, like this one's done just with colored pencil and pen. This is also colored pencil and pen. I like this one a lot. Same thing. This is on one of the cards. I think one of the mandala cards. I don't think that one made it onto a card, or that one, but this one did. Colored pencil. This is on one of the cards, colored pencil also. I think all of these are colored pencil, I think, of the ones that I drew. This is another, same thing, colored pencil. Same thing on this one. This is also on one of the cards. This one now is, I think you can see if I show this to you. Can you see that line right there? Right there. That's my guideline, my pencil guideline. And so that's what I did to give myself keep the binding area free, because otherwise that just really messes with me. Really does. So this one was drawn in gold pen, or I drew it in pencil and then went over it with gold pen, and then it's metallic watercolor. I don't know if you'll be able to see the reflection, but that's on black cardstock. Also colored pencil, more of the metallic watercolor, and gold pen and white pen, both. This one is also metallic watercolor, I believe, and colored pencil or pen. Now this was from somebody else, so this came in the exchange from somebody else, and so she added, this is some brads that she added in there. So this is more of what's considered a zendala, so it's not, doesn't have the symmetrical nature of a mandala. This was from someone else also. So is this one, and this one, and this one, again with the using brads, decorative brads as an embellishment, which is pretty cool. Also someone else did this one, and also this one. This one has metallic a lot of dimensional paints and stuff, and very shiny, glittery, shiny, nice one. This is really nice. Lisa Cousineau is the person who owns Art. She owns one of the stencil companies. I think she still does. What is the name of it? I can see the stencils. I can't. It's not coming up. Yeah, it's not coming up in my memory bank, but she owns one of the stencil companies. I particularly love this with the tree. I just thought that was beautiful. This is a friend of mine that I think still lives in town here. I love this with the circles. Is that a cool one or what? This one's done on glossy paper. I think this one was done originally and then copied and printed on glossy paper. This one too. And this is another one that I did. This is very much like the one in the sketchbook, just with colored pens drawn from this, just the center point, and that's it. This is colored pencil. This one I did also, and this one I did also, colored pencil. So that's where I went next, and then we had the whole, you know, from there it just took off, and I went crazy. Then one of the things that I like to do is to use the mandalas. After I've drawn them, I'll use them in different ways. So these were color copies from just an inexpensive color printer, and I printed them off. This was a card. This was a card that I made from a single sheet of paper. This was from, actually the idea was from a class with Kyla Givehand. And so these are, and this was just roll-off paper. This was scrap paper. And so this is, you'll see the various mandalas, pieces and parts of the mandalas. These were big mandalas, and I took pictures of them, printed them out, processed them in Photoshop, and then printed them out and cut them out, and then used them and attached them to the background. So this is the other part of one of these. There's another one. So you can use them. You don't have to use them, you know, just as the big pieces. You can take pictures of them or scan them or copy them, or, you know, whatever you like to do, and then you know, you print them out and use them in your artwork, and that way you don't ruin your original art. You know, you're just using color copies. And there's another one. So this was an anniversary card that I made for my husband on our 42nd anniversary. So I really enjoy using my own artwork and seeing at different ways that I can use it. So that is that. Then we developed the Mandala Madness course, and so there is I have 2 ebooks. There's also one that's a free ebook, and I'm going to show you that right now. So this is designs from the free ebook. So this is a book of 5 designs. So this is a free book, and these are different things that I've done from this book. This is on a wood piece. This is wood burned, and some of the different mandalas here. Some of these Clausman actually colored, and then I embellished. So again, to show you that you can do different things with the mandalas. So these are the free designs in here. So you can download that for free. Anybody can do that. The first ebook that we produced was the Mandala Melange ebook. So there is that. We produced it and then we updated it and put some new designs in it. Again, lots of different ways to use the mandalas, ATCs, wood burning the design on just an inexpensive piece of wood. It's transferring the design and then wood burning it. These are all done with shrink plastic. And then, you know, these are some of the different, same design done in 2 different colors. This one looking like it's only partially done. But lots of, and these are printed on glossy paper for different effects. But lots of designs in here. This is an ebook that you download and you can print out And if you have the capability, you can download them and resize them, which is the advantage to having having an ebook, because you can actually print the designs at different sizes. Okay. All right. So that's Mandala Melange. There is a link to the book, each book, I think, down in the description box, or you can get to it through the gift shop link, just like I showed you on HowToGetCreative.com. This was the second book that we did, and this was Mandala Medley. And again, these are some of the designs from this book that are finished, just to give you an idea. Different types of media to use, different kinds of color combinations. I love this color combination. Do love it. I love this one too. I know I go through these. This was one of those to, do the faded out appearance, so you could see the mandala finished here but only started over there. I particularly love to go through these again and see what I did after I haven't looked at them for a while. And this is the designs from this book, so you can kind of see what they're all about. So that's Mandala Medley. Then we came out with the cards, the Mandala Madness cards. Hey, Jamie. Jamie, hang on. I'm going to show the cards that you sent me. Oh, shoot. Yes, I love rose mulling. Just reading the chat. I love rose mulling. It is one of my favorite art forms. I haven't done it in a long time. So this comes with the purchase of the Mandala Madness cards. You can download this, print it out. And there are designs in here, various designs. And all right, where's my designs from the deck? They're here. Here we go. And I printed all these out on cardstock, is what I did. So that's why they appear to be heavier, and that's because they are. This is what we're going to work with today. These are all different symbols, pieces, bits and pieces that we titled symbols from the designs on the various cards. And so there's 3 pages of those that you can print out, and I printed 2 pages of each today. And I printed them on I have an inexpensive laser printer, just black laser printer. So I have those, and I printed them out, and then this is just on copy paper, okay, text weight paper. And then I put them on a spray back, surface to theoretically to protect my carpet. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't fully protect the carpet. So I now have permanent spray around the backing, that was protecting the carpet. I now have an edge. So it's a good thing that I'm the only one that gets to look at that, isn't it? Yes. Yes. Artist Seller. That's it, Jan. Artist Seller. Lisa Cousineau owns Artist Seller, or at least she did. I think she probably still does. That's who. Context is hard to come by sometimes. She did. The creator of Artist Seller Stencils did this mandala, Lisa Cousineau. Okay? Artist Seller. Good stencils, beautiful designs. All right. Thank you, Jan. That put me out of my misery. I appreciate that. Okay. Back to the table. So I have printed out these pages, and then I sprayed them with various sprays. And which sprays might they be? It's just whichever ones worked. As we all know. I have not integrated rose mulling into the mandalas. I haven't, but it's a really good idea. It's a really good idea, but I have not. So I have these ready to go, and then what I like to do, I cut them into smaller pieces so that I have, you know, smaller things to work with. And some of these, there was one spray that was one of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide. So I used this one, this Distress Oxide spray. These tend to be more opaque, and so they'll kind of camouflage some of the lines. I also sprayed with the Tumble Dye, SEI Tumble Dye fabric sprays that I diluted in spray bottles. I also used Kool-Aid, which is a drink mix, which is very highly staining and works pretty well. And so I used some of that. I also used Dylon, which is a fabric dye that I diluted in water, had in spray bottles. And I also had RIT dye. It's just a combination. It is truly whatever sprayers were not clogged up and working is what got used on here. So the colors are not as bright and vibrant as sometimes, but it's just the way that, it's just the luck of how the sprays, the spray bottles were working. So that's what I have. This is 2 pages, so it's 6 pages of designs, 2 of each, page 1, 2, and 3. And so those are there. And then I did, once they were sprayed, then I turned them over, used my paper iron, and I put them on top of parchment paper, and I ironed the back to make sure that they were flat and dry. Oh, things are packed up. Oh, well. She is still in business. Gotcha. Thanks, Jamie. So, Lisa Cousineau is still in business. Oh, I'm going to show you this before we do this. Jamie, APG, Jamie sent me happy mail. This is the envelope she sent me. Yep. Happy mail. Okay, now avert your eyes if you are easily offended, because you could be easily offended. This goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. She sent me an absolutely gorgeous card. First of all, I'm going to show you that. Look at this beautiful card. Look at the background on that, you guys. That is stunning. It's turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors in the whole world, and green and gold. It has die cut. Jamie is, APG Jamie is phenomenal with the die cuts. And look, people, she sent me diamonds. She put diamonds on my card. Look, see them? They're sparkling because she likes diamonds, and she knows I like diamonds. Yeah, so she made a beautiful card for me. Told me to laugh. She told me to laugh. She sent me this beautiful ATC, Peace, Grace, and Harmony. My mother's name was Grace. Fun fact, in my family, there are 4 generations of Grace. My grandmother, my mother, my sister, and her daughter. 4 generations of Grace in one family. Yep. So it's always meaningful to have something that has Grace on it. There's some gold threads here. That's really beautiful. Hands are especially important to me and very symbolic. So I always love hands. I love spirals. You hit all the notes, APG. You hit all the notes. You hit all the notes on that. And then this one, this was inspired. Hi, Alicia. You're here having lunch. Good. Good, good. I know. I got diamonds. Yeah, because Jamie offends. No, Jamie doesn't offend. Barb offended. Jamie just took it and ran with it, which I thought was great. So, a few weeks ago, I was having trouble finding my words because I had not had enough sleep for a couple nights, and I was just like, oh, you know. And I was really struggling that day. Really struggling that day. I'm having a hard time talking today just because I need something else to drink. I may have to take a break and go get some more tea. Anyway, so I was talking about my friend who is quite dyslexic, and she coined a new word that she couldn't even remember later that she had done, but it stuck in my brain and I've used it ever since. That when things just are upside down and you can't think and you can't speak and all of that, or sometimes life is just that way, this is how you feel. You feel fuckled. That's what she said to me. She says, oh, you know how I am. She said, sometimes my brain is just fuckled. And so then Jamie made this card in honor of me. Then she sent it to me. And the title of this card is, It's Just Fuckled. You gotta laugh, people. You gotta laugh at that. Honestly, I loved it. That made me smile so much. Thank you, APG Jamie. Thank you. It's yours now. Isn't that funny? Steal like an artist. That's right. Austin Kleon, isn't that his name? All right. So we're finally going to get to the heart of this story here today. Ooh, that was a little close. That's a little close. Sorry about that. Let's back it. Let's just back out. Let's just back the train out here. All right. So what I did here, this was a piece of paste paper that we did, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. I did a whole bunch of paste papers on text weight, the copy weight paper, 20-pound paper. And so that's what this is. And I took the center section of it, cut down a square. It's pretty square. And then I used tape, like score tape, and I put it around the edges of this paper and some down the middle, and I stuck it down to a piece of cardstock so it's got some weight to it. If I had done the paste paint technique on cardstock, I wouldn't have had to do this, but I needed something that had a little more body. Then I used a ruler and I gridded it off so that I know where the center is, and this is an 8-section mandala, so it means corner to corner and just dividing the two sides in half. It just gives me some guidelines to go on. So we're going to play from there. So I thought what we'd do is we would just take one of the designs and we're just going to have to cut as we go. And we will do what we can do here for the time that we have allotted, because if I had my act together, which I didn't quite have it together, I would have cut all this stuff out ahead of time. But instead, we're just going to talk and we're just going to build it as we go. And often when I'm doing something like this particular style of mandala, I will cut all the bits and pieces. If it's a one where I'm actually building it in this manner, I would lay it all out, which is risky business, especially when you got fans and air conditioners going. But I would lay them all out and then start gluing. That way you know what the end result is going to be ahead of time, but it's actually, for me, it's far more creative if I don't do that. It's far more creative for me if I do what I'm doing with you, which is just work as I go. And the best thing to do, I found, when you're cutting out something like this, is to leave some of the background around the shape instead of trying to cut right on the line, because it never works very well. And this one I kind of started a little close to the line, so we're just going to work with it. Okay, we're just going to work with it. By the time it goes down on this piece, it's not going to matter anyway. And I'm going to use a glue stick, and I need to get some scratch paper, glue paper, in other words, just some junk paper. And I'm going to look at, this is just the Elmer's Extreme glue stick. I don't know if these are available anymore. I bought a whole bunch of them from Amazon, so I don't even know if they're available. I hope they still are, because it's my favorite glue stick. Some people like other kinds better, but I like this one. And so I'm going to see how I want to put this on here. I'm going to kind of line it up. Alright, we're just going to line it up that way. So I'm just going to start and put a coat of glue stick on the back, attempting to keep the glue stick away from the edges of or not away from the edges, but I don't want the glue to be flopping up on the top surface of the shape if possible. But I do want to glue it down really well, so it's just kind of going to go down there the way it's going to go. Okay? Hey, Anne. Fupped up. That's pretty funny. Fupped up. All right, so we have a start. We're started in the middle. And now we're going to see which one of these little things floats my boat. We're not going to use those. Let's okay, so we have 3 here, and we have another set of 3. We have 3 there, so that's 6. Let's see what this looks like with these 6. Let's do the. Let's see, 1. Let's go with the commas, the teardrops first. Let's see what happens on the teardrops. You know, I could have printed out more sheets, but I didn't. So let's start with these. So when I'm actually doing this is the way I prefer to do it, is to leave a little bit of the background. And if you're really careful and you're not in a rush and you're not streaming, then you can be pretty accurate with the amount of the background that you leave. But clearly, I'm not meeting any of those parameters here today. All right, so I'm just going to kind of lay them out as I go. So there's 1. And since I have 6, they're not going to work in the same way that it would if there were 8. So we're just going to kind of punt as we go here. And I have one of these mandalas already completely finished that I did quite a while ago. So I will show it to you before we leave. Be sure, if you want to get cards, that you do it this week. The sale will go through the 15th of this month, which is coming up next Friday. So we have it coming up next Friday. And so be sure, if you want to get them, that you do go ahead and get them. I hope you do, and I hope you enjoy them so much. Be sure to, if you do, be sure that you take advantage of that free mini course, because that will give you more ideas on how to use the cards and what to do with them, you know, different ways to use them as art supplies, and as well as what they're originally designed for. But you know, I believe in giving people as many ideas as possible when you do something. You know, when you come up with something, I think you should have multiple ways of using it. That way, you know, you feel like you're getting your money's worth. All right, so we're just going to kind of stick this one in here. I'll just cut these apart. The fun part about these is after you stick the shapes on the surface, then, and you got to let it dry, which doesn't take very long with glue stick, but let the shapes dry, and then you can come back and embellish them just like on a regular mandala, just like I was showing you on this one where I was embellishing it with pens. You can do the same thing with one created from shapes that you cut out. You could do this very same thing with punches and using magazine images. I like to look at magazine images as color, not as what the image is. You know, now if you're glue booking and you cut things out based on what the image is, that's a different process, and you use the imagery. But I often use magazine images just as color. So I finally got rid of all my magazines because I was sick of them. Once I got to start over and accumulate some new magazines. I go on these random tangents where I just get, I don't know if you guys ever do this, but sometimes I'm just like, I cannot live with this stuff one more minute, of one more day, of one more week, of one more month. I cannot live with this stuff, and then I get rid of it. Of course, as soon as I do that, you know the next thing I'm going to say, right? You know the next thing. As soon as you do that, then the very next project that you're going to do, you go, where is that thing, you know? And then you go, oh yeah, I donated or threw it away. I had to make 2 trips to Goodwill this week. 2, not 1, 2, because all the crap wouldn't fit in my car. So I had to make 2 trips. And the guy at Goodwill, oh mercy. Mercy, you guys, you should have been here. You should have been here. It would have been a treat. It would have been a treat for you. Yes. Bless his heart. I don't know what his name was. He wasn't having a very good day. When I said to him, well, how are you doing? How's your day going? He goes, I'm still here. I'm like, okay. All right. Well, moving on. And then he turned to walk away from me, and I saw about this much of his plumber's crack, except he wasn't a plumber, and I'm like, oh, I can't unsee that. I can't unsee that. I was so sorry. Oh, so sorry I looked. I was so sorry I looked. Ah, yes. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Ellie. Let's see. Barb, have you ever used the Gorilla Glue stick? I have not. So I can't recommend it or not. So, yeah, I haven't used it. All right, let's go back here and see what we can do with this. All right, so we have these shapes here. So we're going to do that, and that, and that, and that. Okay, so we can put 2. All right, got it. All right, we got it. So we're going to put this one, and I'm just using just some scrap paper. And you can put these as close together as you want to. Be aware of where you're gluing. If you're using scrap paper or an old magazine or old phone book or something for your glue surface, then you just need to be aware of where the glue is. Okay, just got to get my bearings here a little bit so I kind of know what. Okay, those 2 will go there. So that you don't lay your new piece that you're going to glue in the wet glue from the previous gluing. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here in just a second. How I deal with that. And this is not necessarily something where everything is going to be perfectly spaced around here. Okay, this section is glued. So I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to bend it over like this. So if you were working in an old magazine or something, you can turn the page. But if you're working on single sheets of paper, just once you get it gluey, then just bend it over. Easy peasy. You do want to have a glue, like a baby wipe or a glue, like a rag, like a wash rag or something to get the glue off your hands. At the very least, if you have a paper towel, it helps. Kleenex doesn't help. Kleenex does not help. It just makes a big mess. But a paper towel you can sometimes get away with. I don't know that I have anything here right now that's going to help. But let's see if we can do this. Kinda, sorta. Space them out. And I'm just doing it by eye. I do not have any rings out here to to use as guidelines. So I'm just using my eye, and so you may look at it and go, oh, she's way off. Well, it could be, and I don't worry about it. I just don't worry about it. In the end, your eye is not going to see. By the time you're done and you do the embellishment and stuff, you're not going to see it, so don't sweat it. And if you get an edge where, you know, the glue hasn't stuck, then just pull it up, put a little glue under it, stick it back down. Okay, do you kind of see, kind of get the idea of the idea? Do you get the idea of the idea? Come on, people. Do you get the idea of the idea? Yeah, Barbara Clark said she'd be putting in rings so she could have guidelines. I just, you know, it's good practice for your eye. And then you can also turn it, you know, and go, well, let's work on it this way for a little while, or let's work on it, you know, you can do it the way you want to do it. Okay, how about if we sort of take these, yeah, that's a good idea, but it's a good idea, but I don't want to do that yet. Okay, we got 8 leaves. Let's do these leaves, because these are going to be easy to cut out. So I'm going to do these leaves right here. I wish I had picked a little bit better colors on my sprays. You know, when I started preparing for this stream today, it was a little late. It was a little bit late, so I kind of had to go with whichever ones worked. I do have extra sprayers, so I could have changed the spray nozzles out, but the spray tubes are too long, so I was going to have to do surgery on the spray tubes first, and that just wasn't convenient. I'll check the chat here in just a minute. I can't cut and watch the chat at the same time. And in case I didn't happen to welcome you by name, I'm very glad that you joined us today. And if you're new here, I love to always know that you're new. So you can put a note in the chat, and hopefully I will see it. When you're cutting things like this, if you will hold the item in your hand, hold the scissors in one position, and maneuver the paper with your other hand, you're going to get a better cut. So instead of turning the scissors, turn the paper. It's a good trick. It is a good trick. And you can cut really fine details by doing that. Really fine details. What kind of plans do you have for this weekend? We don't have a holiday weekend coming up, so what's your plan? Here we are, smack dab, at least in the United States, we're smack dab in the middle of the summer. It is billy heck hot right here, right now. Although it cooled off a little bit today. We had a little bit of a rain come through this morning. Not much. My weather app said it was going to rain 100% today. That must have been it this morning, because we had not much, and all it did was make it, even though it's not real hot, it certainly made it, the humidity raised by about 1,000%, which of course makes everybody just feel nice and sweaty and gross, sticky, sweaty. It's lovely. Humidity is a lovely thing. When I was in California a few weeks ago, that is one thing that's really nice out there. The weather is really beautiful. It's comfortable. Evenings are cool. I couldn't believe how cool the evening was. One year I went out there, you'd think I'd remember, because one year I was out there years ago. That's probably why I forgot. Years ago I was out there, and it was so cold in the evenings, and I didn't realize it. So there was a thrift store close by where I was staying. I was staying in a hotel because my son's apartment was a studio apartment, so I gave him a break, and I went and stayed in a motel that was within walking distance of his apartment. And so I went to the thrift store, and I bought myself some kind of, it was giant. The thing was just huge, like a fleece sweatshirt kind of thing. Man, that thing was big. And I could, I could wrap up in that. Oh my goodness, could I wrap up in that? And before I left, I went back, took it the night before I left. I took it back to the same Goodwill or thrift store and donated it back to him. So I bought it to start with, and then I donated it back to him. And said, thank you so much for letting me use this for a few days. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with this. What do you think? All right, let me look at the chat here for a minute. Trash for the landfill. Ellie's got trash. Oh, she washes the t-shirt, so she doesn't have trash for landfill. That's a good idea. Is Angie here? Hello, Angie. I miss seeing you. Cut up old husband's old tees for cleaning. Good idea. Skinny Cat. Hi, Skinny Cat. Carrie, 104 right now. Woo! Yikes. 94 for Ellie. But humidity's 47%. That does help. All right. I don't see anything else that I really missed. If I missed something important, put it in caps in the chat. All right, let's glue this on. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to glue this round on, and I think it's going to work out okay. I think it's going to be a-okay. So I have bent this paper over again. See, I bent it over twice. And what I'm doing is I'm just putting the piece on here, since they're small pieces, and I'm just gluing, and I'm working from the top down. If you get too much glue, then take it off. Yeah, my hands are getting gluey. I'm gonna have to go get a rag. All right, so let's do this one and this one. Okay, this is going to be a little off center, which is okay. It's okay. Does not have to be totally symmetrical. That is one of the things that you got to get over having, and unless you definitely just must have it symmetrical, then you need to put some guidelines in, like some rings. In this instance, I just I don't need to do that because I'm choosing not to. Don't have to use glue stick. You can use some, you could use a wet glue if you really wanted to. The thing about wet glue is that it is going to sorry, I'm just kind of gauging by eye here. If you really wanted to, you could get a ruler out here before you stuck it down real tight. And well, it's about 7/8 of an inch. Yeah, it's pretty much okay. My eye is pretty accurate most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. I don't know what I was just going to say. Something profound, no doubt. You guys know everything I say is always profound, don't you? Not. Anyway, I hope you're going to have a good weekend this weekend. I hope you do something really fun and creative too. All right, let's see. This one is about, kind of put it about like that. so this is going to get doubled over again. And if you just keep working like that with a glue paper, you know, if it's just junk papers like these are, you can get a lot of mileage out of a piece of junk paper. All right, where did I put this? About like so. Okay. Oop! Threw the glue stick. Not good. Not good to throw the glue stick. All right, and this one is going to go about like that. Okay. I don't know about you, but I think it's looking kind of pretty. What do you guys think? Do you like this? Do you like it? Hi, Linda. You've been making mixed media project. Cool. All right. So let's go to the next little who's what's it. Okay, we got 6 hearts. At this point, we've definitely established the 8 sections. So we got to find where there's 8 pieces of whatever. So we got some comma stroke or some teardrops. Let's look at the other thing of teardrops. I have flowers. I have plenty of flowers, so we've got those. Let's do the teardrops. All right, here we go. Patience, my pretties. Patience as we cut. As we do some cutting. Do you guys like to do fussy cutting? Some people don't. I don't mind it. In fact, I kind of find it relaxing, you know, to just sit. Often I do this kind of stuff when I have the television on, you know, where I don't need to really concentrate. I just put the TV on and I'm just listening while I'm doing something. You know, it's kind of like hand stitching. I'll just listen while I do the thing, whatever the thing is. Let's see, what else has been going on around here? Oh, sticking to my finger. What else has been going on? I don't know that there's been a lot. My neighbor's been gone. My next door neighbor's been gone for a week. It's always nice when they get back home. I always enjoy having, you know, it's like that sense of security, like, oh man, if I need to call somebody, he's right there, you know. We have a thing here every year called the Show Me State Games, and it's kind of like the quasi-Olympics for our state. So you have to qualify, you know, to take part in it. They have the Senior Olympics, the Senior Show Me State Games, and the regular Show Me State Games. And they're always in July. Oh, man. Hot, hot, hot. So those are going to be coming up. They usually fall around the time of my birthday, which is coming up here shortly. I got one more year in this decade. One more year. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for one more year. I think I told you guys about this the other day. Here I'm just rattling on because I can't watch the chat while I do this. I read this quote, and I have a book that I read every day. It's called Grief One Day at a Time. It's kind of a meditation sort of thing. It's one of those 1 page a day things. And it was talking about on the first anniversary of the loss of someone special to you. It was mostly talking about women losing their husbands. Not all of the pages are like that, but this one was. And the very last line, I think I talked about this on one of the streams earlier this week, but the last part of this quote was, "And she kept herself alive." And I thought, that just hit me right square between the eyes, because you just don't think about the fact that you're having a struggle, and you just don't think about other people having the same struggle or having had the same struggle. But when I read that quote, I thought, well, yep, obviously other people have had that struggle if they're celebrating the fact that they kept themselves alive. So that was pretty reassuring, actually. And I wrote the book Normal Doesn't Live Here Anymore. I wrote that book, right? And I decided what the title of my new book is going to be. Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't know if I'm going to write it, but I might. It could happen. I don't know if it ever get published or not, because Ray said he's never going to do another book with me. I don't blame him. That's a hard thing to do with somebody, especially with your mother. Whew. Mothers can push your buttons, can't they? Yes, they can. So, yeah, you ready for the title of the new book if it ever gets written? You want me to tell you? Celebrate more and heavier every year. Celebrate more and more and heavier every year. That's good, Cigna. The name of it is Abnormal is the New Normal. Don't you love that? Abnormal is the new normal. I think that's a great title. Mostly because it makes me laugh. Don't you think that's funny? You guys, that made me laugh so hard. Of course, I might be a little twisted. It's possible that I could be a little twisty. Could be. Don't tell anybody, though. But I love that quote from that one page where it was, "And she kept herself alive." I thought, man, I'm so glad to know that I'm not the only one that had it's not that I'm glad other people struggle, but gee whiz, I just didn't think about the fact. I thought you get so caught up in your own stuff that you don't realize that other people are having a struggle too. I'm like, really, Barb? Yeah. And just like that, young Frankenstein fell into my... Is that a line from Young Frankenstein? Abnormal is the new normal? That's nicer than pork it and don't mean... And I don't mean this... Yeah, that's true. That is true. Fork it, and I don't mean the salad. It's funny. Oh, goodness. I'll tell you what. We're a mess. We're a mess here today. I'm just kind of measuring to give myself a little bit of an idea of getting this kind of even out here. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here in just a minute. Believe it or not. Yeah, Abnormal is the New Normal. I just think that's the best title. You guys, I think that's the best title. I think it might be worth a book. Seeing as I have a whole new level of experience to call upon that I didn't know I was going to get to have. Okay, I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm using these teardrop shapes, and I'm going around and adding them. This is actually coming together a little bit quicker than I expected that it might. And before I stick it down, I'm just kind of measuring out here to get, kind of the same distance from the tip of that shape out to the edge of the paper. I'm going to have to bend this over again because I've got that section all gluey. So I've got one more strip, and I've glued all of this so far with one piece of paper. Not bad, not bad. But if you control the gluey surface, that really does help. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got two more pieces to do here. We, the collective we, like you are helping me. And so I'm going to put this one here. Well, you are. You're helping me. You're keeping me company. I'm just kind of measuring, because as you start to get out to the edge of something, your eye starts to pick it up a little bit more because it has more things to measure. So it can measure from the edge out to from the edge of the shape out to the edge of the paper, background paper. I do like this concept of the background, and that was just a fluke. That's just the way it ended up. When I did the paste paper technique. These are not exact. They're just approximate. Okay? All right, pretty good. Not bad. All right. Normal is highly overrated, isn't it? No, but there's a line about a brain. Abnormal. I know. Normal is just a figment of our imagination. All right, I'm going to set that aside for a second, and let's see if I can find the one that's done with the shapes, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this entire piece right here is done exactly the way that we're doing this. Okay, you can see the difference in the color because I use clearer colors, but it's done exactly the same way, except this was just on the black background, and then all of the other things in here are embellished and put on afterwards. Like this motif in here inside the hearts, that was all added afterwards. In here on these shapes, there were some, the little flower sections are already defined, but the stuff inside the flower shapes is not. These are those teardrop shapes, so I added to that and added beyond them. These are, the dots on this are already included, I think. Let's see. Let me look. Let me look at the collection of symbols I have here. Wouldn't you know, I can't find it. Let me see. It's got to be here somewhere. All right, it's that kind of... Here they are. Okay. So these shapes have the dots in them, and these little triangles, which are... Do I have those on here? Yes, here. So those have the clusters of dots on them, but I just added some more white dots to them. So what's up? So that is that. This is done with the shapes, and it is done with find the middle. And this was one of these flowers right here, this little flower that I just took the center out of, I think. Let's see, did I? Yeah, I took the, or no, I'll tell you what I did. I colored it in. Colored it in with a black paint pen. That's what I did there. So it's this shape, and I colored in the circle with black. But it's the exact same process. find the center and then just start building out. And I don't think I even put any guidelines on here. I think I did this entire thing exactly, exclusively, whatever, with building it by eye. And it ends up to have a circular effect, but look how wonky the center is where it started. You know, it's just a matter of how do you put it together and what do you do to make it all go together, you know? Ends up with a circular effect. Yep. Okay, so that is an example of how you can use them. And it also shows you the difference in how the color affects the shapes when you start with the shapes. This will all tie together, even this funky green color, that'll all tie together by what I choose to do with the embellishments. It will 100% tie together. All right, so we got 6 of those. Let's do some, let's see, how many flowers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's only 6 of each of those. All right, let's just look a little bit further. Let's look a little bit further. We have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 of these. Okay, let's do 8 of these. See what we can do with this. So we'll save that. And we'll save this one. Let's see what we can come up with this little shape. This is going to have a skinny little stem on this spiral, which you wouldn't even have to use. You could cut it off. But I think it'll be good to have the challenge. It's good to have a challenge. Challenge yourself. Go, well, let's see, what else shall I tell you? Told you about the new book that might or might not ever get written. I haven't enlightened Race about that. I don't even want to know what he thinks of that idea. Don't want to know what he thinks of that idea. Okay, let's see, what if we did that? Let's see what happens if we kind of play with that idea. Maybe we'll do... We'll just play. We'll play. It's just a matter of arranging, and you can always shorten the stem. Just because it's drawn a certain way doesn't mean you have to use it that way. My index finger on my left hand is super sticky. Glue stick. The glue stick is in full effect here. I bet you can see it too as I'm dealing with the paper. It's like, stop it. Stop sticking to me. Why is it that sometimes you can't talk and do something at the same time? Why is that? What is up with that? The air conditioner I have an air conditioner blowing and also a fan blowing in the studio. So I'm sure you're hearing a nice big roaring sound. But it's so hot that I can't be in here without it. So I'm sure it's annoying as all get out, and the hotter it is outside, the more the air conditioner runs, of course. So I used to, when we first started this, I would turn off the furnace or turn off the air conditioner, and I'm telling you, Oh, I'm telling you, I just can't do it. I used to be able to do it, and I finally thought I'm just going to deal with the kickback from noise. You know, people don't like the noise, which I know it's annoying. I get it. I do. I really do. But there's just some things that I can't handle. If you want me to be able to think, if you want me to be able to think, I gotta have a cool brain, so to speak. I can't believe we still have like 15 minutes before I normally quit streaming. You guys still hanging in here with me? I hope so. It's always good to have folks to chat with and do things with on Friday for Drama Free Friday. Be sure if you want cards, you get your orders in. Remember, you have to put 2 in your cart. You got to put in 2. And then put in the code, the coupon code BOGO, and update the cart. That way it will take off the price of the one, so you truly do get buy one, get one. If you want multiples, then you need to put, you need to do separate orders, and then I will adjust shipping. If I can get them in a box that's a reasonable cost, I will adjust the shipping. Oh, that's funny, Linda. The sound's not annoying. Okay. Sherry got her cards yesterday. Good. Hi, Kathy. Cool. Good for you. I hope you love them. I hope you love them. I love them. And as much as I looked at them when we were making them, if anybody was going to get sick and tired of them, it would have been me. I would have been sick and tired of them. You know, I loved them from the very first concept until all the boxes arrived. I'm so grateful that we ordered them back when we did, and we didn't get caught in this crazy shipping situation we've got going on right now. And every time I open a box of cards and I see them, it's such a kick to just see them all. But you know what? It's time to move on to something new. It is time to move on to something new. Okay, so we will adjust that accordingly. So it's time to bless everybody else with the cards as they wish to have them and be able to move forward. I don't know what we're going to do next. I haven't decided. Do you have suggestions of things you would like to see me do? I'm thinking about producing stamps again. We used to do rubber stamps, face stamps. And so we did a truckload of those back in the, let's see, when did we start that? In the 90s? I think we started those in the 90s. Maybe 1999? Something like that. And we've reproduced those quite a few times. Finally, I still have some seconds, like some B grade stamps. Someday I'll get those out and finally get jarred off dead center, and I'll put those up for sale. But there will be some flaws, because the way that they work with the rubber stamps, you produce the artwork, you send the artwork, it has to be camera ready, or they charge you an arm and a leg to get it camera ready, and then they make some kind of a plate. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, they make a plate, and this is for red rubber. The photopolymer stamps are a different process. So then you send them, so you pay for the plate, and then they keep the plate, and then when you order stamps, then they press the rubber. So I think it's a heat process, I believe. I've never actually seen it done. They've described it to me, but it's been a long time ago. A long time ago. But we haven't run those stamps in a long time. I would not run the same ones. I would update them and change them and so forth. But they were face stamps, and they were faces that went with, each one of them had a doll pattern that it went with. Because back in the day, I was a cloth doll designer. That was my forte. I should probably get the dolls out at some point again, because it's been a while since I've shown them to anybody. Although last week I showed you the miniature room box that I did. But I had a line of patterns. There were 3 in one series, and I had this crazy one called Odie, who went to the hairdresser to get her hair frosted, and she came home with a cake on her head. And her cake has candles on it and stuff, but through the years her candles have gotten pretty droopy, along with parts of her anatomy, I'm sure. And I had a Santa pattern also. And I can't remember what else, but anyway. Okay, so there's that. Illicit liquid, don't tell Ray. Oh, Jan. I'll tell you what, that Jan, she is so good. She gave me a $5 super chat so I could have illegal fluids. Oh, good. Good for you, Jan. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Hey, Glory, Pink Girly. Yeah, we don't. Hi, Journey. We don't have any of the face stamps now. It's been a long time, actually. They each had a character name. There was Harriet and Hannah and Hillary and Odie. Those were the 4 characters. All right, let's see if we can glue these on here, shall we? All right, this one we'll be able to, maybe we'll switch these. Maybe we'll switch these. See what I think. Do I like it this way, or do I like it the other way? All right, let's do this and this. That. That's fine. Okay, let's go. Let's go for it, people. Let's go for it and see what happens. Hi, Kathy. Yeah, thanks for putting that in there, Kathy. It is BOGO. It's not case sensitive. It is not case sensitive. Okay, so we got that one. So I'm going to do the 4 ones that are going to have to be adjusted. I'm going to do those first. The paper pieces are starting to stick to my fingers. You know when that happens, it is time to stop and wash your hands, Barb. Guess what? I'm not going to. I'm going to be a rebel. I keep going. All right, so sometimes you just got to be a rebel. Did I ever tell you about my sister that had a cat named Rebel? This is kind of a bad story, but kind of funny too. And she moved to a different community. She had 2 little boys, just one older and one younger than our son. They moved to a different community, and they, of course, moved their cat, Rebel. He was a gray, really beautiful cat. He was getting some age on him. And he would do wacky things, like in the house that they moved from, they had there was a big tree in their yard, and Rebel would get in a squirrel nest. And one day, he really liked that squirrel nest. And he got in that squirrel nest, and the bottom fell out when he was asleep. Boy, was he surprised. He was real surprised when that squirrel nest let go and sent him tumbling right on down to the ground. Anyway, that was one of the funny things that Rebel did. But then they moved away, and the little boys were staying at home, and they weren't too young to stay by themselves. They were fairly young, but they weren't too young to be by themselves. And one of the boys called my sister, their mom, called her up and said, "I think Rebel got hit by a car." That's the sad part, right? And then he would call throughout the day, and he'd say, "I don't think it was Rebel." And of course, the mom, my sister, is trying to figure out how she's going to deal with these kids over this cat, that's been part of their lives for a long time, and all this stuff, and what's she going to do about this cat. She's trying to figure it all out, and she's feeling bad about what she's going to have to tell her kids, and feeling bad about the cat dying. And then the son calls one last time, and he says, "I'm sure it's not our Rebel. I'm sure it's not." This is throughout the day now. And she said, "Well, why do you think so?" And he says, "Because Rebel's not that flat." Terrible. I know. Sorry. You have to have a twisted sense of humor for that to make you laugh. Yeah, sorry. Yes, he did. I know. It's just sometimes you have to laugh at crazy things, don't you? Sometimes you just have to laugh at it. There's no other way. Sometimes something is too sad and too emotional that your emotion has to be to laugh at it. I had a number of those things when I was taking care of Claus Man, where there were just some things that were just too much for my brain, and I would just get so tickled about something and laugh until that didn't happen very often, by the way, but when it did, man, I would laugh until I was on the floor. I guess it's a coping mechanism, you think? Do you think? Oh, my hands are gluey. Good night, nurse, they're gluey. So full of glue. Okay, let's go back down here. I know. It's coming along. Yes, it is. Hi, Annette. It is a coping thing, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Life is... Sometimes there just wasn't anything else to do but laugh, because the situation was so... Whew! Sometimes it was just such a challenge. You just had to laugh. What else were you going to do? The alternative is to cry, and I did plenty of that, but, sometimes you just got to laugh and see, this is so crazy, it's just ridiculous. I just have to laugh, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is anybody's life. Abnormal is the new normal. Remember? That's the new title of the book that may never get written, but it's in my head. I think it's a great title. I love that title. Abnormal is the new normal. If I keep looking in the computer screen, then I kind of get a better visual of what it looks like. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's coming along pretty well. Okay, I'm going to stop adding stuff to it for the moment. I actually would come back and I would add a lot more of the symbols into it, but I'm going to have to cut out a whole bunch more stuff. Let me show you this one again. I'm going to stop adding things, but see on here, what I did was I layered things. Like this shape right here is layered on top of the heart. You can see that over there. I connected a lot of them so that they were touching as they went out. What else did I do? Just, you know, that kind of thing. All right, so we can go back into the center here now, and we can actually add some color. So we'll play with that just a little bit. Yeah, it is like it's spinning. Isn't it interesting? I love the background thing. Okay, let's come in here and let's choose a color that's a fun color to use. What color do we want to use? Let's try this. Let's try this pinky color. I always have a piece of scratch paper when I'm doing this. I always have scratch paper available to make sure the pen is running. And these are all Jelly Roll pens. Some of them are Moonlight pens and some of them are just the regulars. I actually know all of these are Moonlight pens. Okay, so let's see. Just for grins and giggles, let's see if it, I don't think this color is going to show up out there. I got to change my mind. Before you make a mark, change your mind, Barb. That's how she rolls. You got to have a color that's going to show up. And the Jelly Roll pens will take a minute to come to their full drying yes. Once they dry, they'll get their full intensity. So this is the kind of thing that I love to do, because once I start this, let me come in closer so you can actually have a prayer of seeing what I'm doing. This to me is like adding the frosting on a cake. And sometimes if the colors don't show up enough to suit me, I will come in with a black pen and add some detail around some of these. Like I would outline around the dots, for example, if they don't show up enough. Do you see how this one is getting more intense as it dries, this section? So don't pass judgment on what you're doing until you have completed all the way around the mandala. Then you can go, oh yeah, I'm going to do something else to bump that up. But if you start getting upset with it or judging what you're doing too quickly, you will guaranteed mess it up. So give yourself the grace of and space of time. See how intense this one has become now? But at this point, everything you start adding starts to make it come, I don't know, to me this is just the special part of the whole process. And you go, oh yeah, I didn't see that coming. I never thought about what that was going to look like, because it's influenced by the color underneath. You're being influenced by what's going on in the background, the color of the spray inks, and the shapes. And it just becomes, the magic starts happening here. And anytime that you add black and white to these, it just really lights them up, really lights them up. So that's why frequently I will come back and do some outlining with black, and then also just kind of add some sparkle over the top with a white pen. Bye, Alicia. Thank you for joining us, hanging out with us for a little while. It's always good to see your name in the chat. And this is like anything else with a mandala. I make the decision one time and then I repeat it all the way around the circle. Okay, so this is pretty busy in here, so I'm going to show you what I would do with the black pen. So I would come in here, and I need my nose right down on the top of this so I can see it, because I'm having trouble seeing it. We'll just, hopefully I'll keep my head out of the shot. If my head gets in here, please just ignore it. Now, the gel ink from the Jelly Roll pen has to be completely dry before you can come in here and do this. If it's not completely dry, it's going to clog up your micron pen. And that may happen anyway. This pen has seen better days. So I don't mind, especially if it's clogged up. And then I'm always cleaning it off on a piece of paper too. Okay, let's do another one. I find that with the micron pens, it helps if you let the pen stand up nice and straight. I don't worry a whole lot either about whether the outline is right around the pink circle. I don't worry a whole lot about whether it meets exactly where I want it to meet. Okay, let me put my glasses back on. And if I hold this up and give it a minute to focus, you can kind of see the concept, right? Okay, so I got the dots done, but it still seems like it needs something. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the same idea, and I'm going to come down one side of the pink and see if that's enough, because these shapes are pretty small. So going down both sides of that pink line is going to be tricky. So this is sort of like slow stitching. If any of you like to do slow stitching, this is a little bit on that same order, where you just get in there and you just embellish and play. But see the difference between these two and these two, for example. You see how different they are? These now really show up, these don't. All right, and then I would go from there, and I'm going to pick up maybe this other pink. So I would do that all the way around the circle. And then I would come in here and I would start connecting elements and embellishing elements. So I might come here, and I might come there, and I might come and add a little cluster of teardrops here, and then I'm just going to come in here and here and add a little cluster of elements. Okay, so Once I've established that, then all I have to do is repeat it. That's all I have to do. Once you make your mind up, and if you don't have enough room, you just do the best you can. Okay, you just do the best you can. And then you just keep on going. And then I probably would come in here and darken one of these up. And figure out, you know, kind of, okay, well, there's some real discrepancy of size in there between one area and another. I'm not going to sweat that until I get all of the elements done all the way around the circle, and you probably won't even see it anyway. But, you know, you kind of get the, I think you get the idea, don't you? I think you get the idea. So you just now start doing the embellishment and adding and having fun and just, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever feels right in that moment. You know, let's see, okay, what do I want to do? Well, I want to do this, 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 and this. Okay, so that's going to start connecting the center out, and then right in here I'm going to just put a nice center so it has something to grow from. You know, it's that concept of the dot growing from. And then you can just come in here and you can just keep, you know, embellishing to your heart's content. Just I use lots of dots and dots. And if you don't have room for the dots, you know, some places might not have room for dots, then you just kind of squeeze them in. All right, here we go. You just kind of squeeze them in, or you go, well, they won't work. That won't, you know, can't go there. And so you just, your eye will still move on around the circle because you still have them included. Anyway, so I would just keep going with that, and going and going and going. So let's back it out so you can kind of get more of the overall view, because you never are going to look at something with your nose all the way down to the page or the paper, looking at it, you know, down as closely as what I was showing it to you. That's always a completely unrealistic as to what that looks like when you're working on it so closely. So again, here's the one that was done on black, and you can see some of the lines in here, some of the shapes I just drew and then dotted the lines. Some I added, you know, drew out away from the shapes like I did down here. So you just go for it. Just go for it and enjoy the process and have fun. And it's a great way to utilize that book with the symbols. And then I would come out here and do something, and then I would take this whole thing and mount it on another piece of paper so that it would make it bigger. And I would just keep building it until I was done, you know? That's how I do it. Repeating is the Zen part, it really is. Way to unclog the micron pens. The only way to unclog them is, first of all, don't clog them. So that means don't use them over acrylic paint, because acrylic paint is guaranteed to clog them up. Guaranteed. And once acrylic paint gets on them, they're done. They're done. You just go, and it's over. If you are doing something like I work over Prismacolor pencils a lot on fabric when I'm doing doll faces, and so in that case I always use the trick where I have a piece of paper and I'm always scratching them off constantly, cleaning the tip to keep the wax from building up on the tip of the micron pen. If you do that consistently, you can usually keep them going. But once they get clogged, there's nothing I know of that is going to allow you to unclog them. So a clog is a clog, and they're done. So just play with them and enjoy them. They're not a super expensive pen, and so that helps. But if you find that you get frustrated by them, then I would switch to the black Jelly Roll pen or a black paint pen. The problem with the black paint pens, by and large, is you don't get as fine a line. So the micron pens come in a range of tip sizes, so you can get different line widths. But sometimes, I go in spells where I am just sick of these micron pens for right now, and I'll switch only to the black Jelly Roll pen, and I'll use those exclusively for a while. Then I go back to the micron pens. So you just kind of play with it, to see what'll work for you. All right, that is going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for joining me. I plan to be back here on Monday at some point. I don't know when, but I plan to be back Monday. And thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed watching it. It's just, this is anytime you do something, it reflects the mood that you're in. So this is in a much more mellow color palette, although it kind of goes well with my shirt. It's a much more mellow color palette than I'm used to working with, but this is fun. I like working on that crazy background. I haven't done that before. You're getting to see some of those things for the first time. And my guidelines that I drew, the pencil lines, they're all disappearing, and I haven't erased a thing, so who knew? All right, you guys. Again, get your cards if you want them. The coupon code is BOGO, which stands for buy one get one. BOGO. You have to order 2. You have to put the code in and hit apply coupon, and then update the cart so you know what you got going on. And then that's it. I will get orders. I will start packing them again probably on Monday. All right, that's going to do it for today. Remember to get creative today, because it's easy. And thank you for joining me, and go out and have a good day. Enjoy the creation and the creator, and I will see you again next time. As I said, remember to get creative today, because it's easy. See you next time. Bye for now.